And earlier this morning, Greg Wallace shared on Instagram what he thinks about the allegations against him.
Now, I've been doing MasterChef for 20 years. Amateur, celebrity and professional MasterChef. And I think in that time, I have worked with over 4,000 contestants of all different ages, all different backgrounds, all walks of life. And apparently now, I'm reading in the paper, there's been 13 complaints in that time. Now, in the newspaper, I can see the complaints coming from a handful of middle-class women of a certain age just from Celebrity MasterChef. This isn't right. In 20 years, over 20 years of television, can you imagine how many women, female contestants on MasterChef, have made sexual remarks or sexual innuendo? Can you imagine?
Well, there's quite a bit to unpack there. Hugh, you know Greg Wallace a little. What do you think of this intervention from him?
I think the intervention is not wise. I don't know Greg well. I've met him a couple of times. He's very likeable. He's a very professional screen presence. I have a very talented chef on MasterChef right at the moment, and she's doing incredibly well, and I've been really enjoying watching her and enjoying Greg's presenting. I think it's likely that Greg has what we might call a bawdy sense of humour. Clearly, that's offended people. I think one of the issues is that down the years, people have not felt able to tell him when he might want to rein it in a bit, and clearly he's crossed some lines. In terms of how he's going about defending himself, I understand the instinct when you feel you're backed into a corner, but I don't think it's smart to come out talking like that when at the moment he should probably be listening.
Diane Abbott, can I ask you specifically about the bit from Mr. Wallace? I can see the complaints coming from a handful of middle-class women of a certain age. What do you think of that?
It's not a crime to be a middle-class woman of a certain age, I would say. Greg doesn't get it. The world has moved on. Back in the day, he could touch up women and harass women.
Well, there's no suggestion that he's done that. Absolutely no suggestion that he's done that at all.
Back in the day, he could harass women. And it was about power, really. Women weren't in a position to say anything or do anything. He just doesn't understand that the world has moved on.
And just to repeat, through his lawyers, he has said it's entirely false that he engages in behaviour of a sexually harassing nature. Craig McKinley, are there more questions for the BBC about another presenter?
Well, I hope there's not, but if there are whistleblowers out there whose whistle has been blown and have not been listened to by the BBC, I hope it's not another one of these stories that should have been looked at earlier. But, I mean, I'm not going to stand in judgment of Greg. I don't know him. He was well on the way of becoming a national treasure with the type of programmes he's doing. You know, is he baldy? Is he, a bit laddish? I think that, as Diana said, the barrier has moved over the years, and perhaps he has overstretched into lewd behaviour, sexual behaviour, but that is for the investigation to look into. And I agree with Hugh, probably at the moment he's best to shut up and see where it goes.
Yeah. The BBC, by the way, say we take any issues that are raised with us seriously and we have robust processes in place to deal with them. We're always clear that any behaviour which falls below the standards expected by the BBC will not be tolerated.